point in the things, like one of my best skills is teaching people how to be a good presenter. And in my head, I'm like, you're not really that good. But it's like, hey, who am I to argue? He's made at least one or more millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So it just
Yeah.
confirms that, you know what? We're way better than we think we are.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, I think it's like the metrics that actually matter in making money are probably a lot different than the metrics that we think of in terms of aesthetics. And so it's like, if we just learn that little skill set of like, what's the stuff that sells? It's like we can build a very magnetic and charismatic brand because we're already good at like being personable, being likable, like sharing things in a way that's what.
Or maybe we're just full of shit and we suck and we just think we're good.
Very, very possible. Very possible.
But yeah, like the other thing that struck me is, what I sent you in that voice message of like, I think that's our ideal client. Someone whose identity is I'm an entrepreneur and they can't be anything other than that. And it's
Uh-huh.
like they struggle because either they're successful, but they're overwhelmed by the business. And they're like, this is not what I wanted, but I don't have a choice because this is the only option for me
Yeah.
because this is who I am. Or it's like they're struggling because they haven't made it yet. But it's like, I can't go back to a
Yeah.
normal job. It's not who I am. It's like, it's this or nothing. And we're like, hey, you can be lazy, you can have fun, and you can be an entrepreneur. It's like, let us show you how to make this process enjoyable and simple. And I feel like if we target those people, people are like, no matter what, this is what I
Mhm.
have to do. This is who I am. I can't be anything else. And we come along and be like, hey, it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to work insane hours. You don't have to feel overwhelmed. You don't have to do a million things. You can keep things simple, have fun, enjoy your life. And it's like, I've never seen that. And I'm just realizing, like, every time I've done, courses or trainings like this in the past, and it's like, okay, what are your skills? What are you good at? What are you bad? Like, how can you help people? Who do you want to help? And things like that. Like, I've always struggled, but now it's just like fill in the blank, like, and becoming super clear on who we're going to help. And I think just for that one realization, it was worth it. So it's
Okay,
like,
what do you think about this?
I hate it.
Sorry. This is my little blurb I put on the event that I created. I'm helping Marcus invite people to his group. So I'm doing a little presentation in his group. And so I just said, like, learn how you can increase your income as a barber or beauty professional without being an expert in online marketing or spending years becoming a master barber. So my little bio is Aaron Weber is a community builder and brand marketing expert, has helped clients grow audiences from 400 to 4 million, and is trusted by organizations including Amazon, NBC, CBS, Chick-fil-A, afloral.com, Camp Life, Digest Life, and more to grow their brands.
I'm like, it sounds super professional. My thought is like, and I don't mean that as an insult whatsoever. I'm just like, that doesn't sound like you. Just because like I know the real you, just in the same way that it's like, I like, oh, I'm almost like I'm a 7 times published author, been read by like 10 million people. It's like all that crap is like, it sounds good, but to me, it doesn't sound like myself, but it does sound very professional. It's like, it sounds the way that it should sound.
Mhm. Should I add on here and spends 5 hours a day with his best friend making poop jokes and scheming ways for people to give them his money?
Well, maybe not the poop jokes, but if you want to include something more like cheeky to show like, hey, I'm like a normal person, I like to have fun too. Like,
Mhm.
that could, like, it wouldn't necessarily make that much of a difference, but it would kind of convey a little more about like who you are.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's really good. I like it. By the way,
What if I wrote like Aaron Weber is a totally normal person that happens to be a community builder and brand marketing expert, has helped client. So it's like, I don't know, just
yeah, that could work.
is a legit 100% totally normal person.
Don't oversell it, because then they're like, wait, is he like a freak?
Oh man.
Oh yeah, but it's funny, like now that we're digging into like, you know, your skills and how to pitch and prove like, hey, you've had all these results. It's like, and I'm talking to other people, and it's like they're asking me like what I'm doing, and then I talk about what we're doing and my business partner. And if they ask about you, I'm like, I just like pitch you, and I'm just like, you sound freaking amazing. Man. This is cool. It's like the last few days, but especially today with this realization this morning and what we realized yesterday of like, we teach people how to have fun, keep things simple, and just enjoy the process. And then
Yeah.
today, our target audience is people who cannot be something else. They have to be an entrepreneur. That is their identity. And then it's like, those people who haven't mastered the art of like, you know, keeping things simple, doing only what's effective, having fun, and like create that lifestyle, are stuck in one of two camps. Either they have that identity and they're struggling because they're like, I haven't made it yet, but I can't be anything else. Or they're like, I've made it, but I'm overwhelmed by my business. And they're like, this can't be it. Like, that's not what I was promised. And it's like, either way, we can help them. And then like, because that's their identity, it's like, I'm an entrepreneur, I can't be anything else. They don't have a way out. They feel stuck, they feel trapped. And if we come along and we're like, hey, we can teach you exactly how to keep being an entrepreneur and be lazy, keep things simple, and have fun. Like, I think they're going to be like, fuck yes. How do I sign up?
Okay, so what if I introduce myself as like, Aaron Weber is a normal, lazy, fun-loving entrepreneur who is blah, 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 all that other professional stuff. So it's like, I'm starting with values. It's like, here's who I really am. I just happen to have done all this other stuff. It's like, but we all, I mean, if you're sharp, you know that stuff has been cherry picked. If you don't know that, it's like, it still humanizes the like, oh, I would never have anything in common with that guy. It's like, no, like I'm a normal person like you. I don't know.
I'm just
I feel
wondering,
like none of this matters. Like the people who are going to come are just going to be like, show me how to make money.
yeah, I feel like we focus so much on like that like description of us, but it's like most people don't read it or don't care.
They don't care. They don't.
I'm just wondering, how do we convey that message of like, this is for someone who's entrepreneur, like that title is their entire identity. How do we convey that?
Yeah.
How do we convey the message of, if I wasn't an entrepreneur, I would not be anything. I would cease to.
I think I should just start the talks by saying that. It's like at the top when you're qualifying people's like, hey, here's what we're going to talk about. Here's what you're going to learn. Here's who you need to be in order to get value out of this thing. It's like really, you want to be an entrepreneur. Like if that's something that you are drawn to, you're called to, it's like maybe even if you're not very good at it or don't know much about it, it's like, you know, this is this is where you're going to be for a while.
Like, it's definitely good, yes, in the presentation when we explain it, but it's more like, how can we summarize it so we can include it in the title? Just like, how can we put that so if people who read the title are like, yeah, okay, it's not
They're
about want to
thinking
be an entrepreneur.
entrepreneurs only.
It's not about I want to be an entrepreneur. It's about like I have to be an entrepreneur. Like there's no other option. So how do we convey that so that people understand from the get-go, like in one simple statement or one simple term, like this is who it's for. And if you're just like in it for the money, or you're in it because like you don't want to do 9 to 5, you don't really have an interest, not for you. This is for you only if being an entrepreneur is who you are, and you wouldn't be yourself without that. Because I feel like if we draw that distinction, we're automatically going to repel anyone who's not a right fit. And we're only going to attract people whose identity is, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. There's no other option for me. And then once we have those people, it's just a question of, are you struggling, set up the business, or are you overwhelmed in your successful business?
Yeah.
And it's like, as long as you have those three things, it's like, you have to be an entrepreneur, and you're either struggling or you're overwhelmed in your business, you're perfect for us. Well, not perfect for us, but it's like, we're perfect for you to help you overcome what you're struggling with.
I saw a really good strategy yesterday that, I mean, probably isn't super new, but it was new to me. It was they offer, it was an ad. It was like, here's a free funnel for you, like a free funnel and like course. But that, so that was the lead magnet. It was like, enter your email, you'll get the thing. And then after the email, they had a follow-up like upsell that was a low ticket product. So it was like, hey, we'll send you that thing right away. By the way, if you're looking to like blah, 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 XYZ, basically pay us to explain to you exactly what it is we do. And like, if you're our target customer, like, you can find out more about what we're doing like right away. It was really well done. And like what they were talking about is how to really, really quickly qualify your leads. And I'm like, okay, so they're doing what they're teaching is, they're basically offering something that draws a big circle around who they're looking for. But then it's like, to get past the tire kickers, it's like, now it's like, if you're ready to do something right now, if you're looking for a solution, here's the thing that we're doing that's helping people right now. Just pay us a small amount of money. It's like $27 to see this, this workshop that shows you exactly how to do this process. And so it's like, instead of the typical free webinar, they're doing like, here's a free gift or free valuable thing. And the webinar is actually, you're charging for it. So you're actually growing your list of opt-ins with people who are willing to put money out there. Now it's still low enough cost that it's like, you probably still will have some curious buyers that aren't going to be super hot prospects, but it's like, it does seem like a good way to offset the cost of growing your list.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is our goal to grow the list? Because it seems like neither of us really has interest in spending too much time on the list. Like, yes, it's a good back end strategy for the business. It's like, do we want that to be a main focus? Because I've tried the list for a couple of weeks and I quickly realized I don't want that to be the main business. Mm-hmm. It's fine if it's part of the business that we run on the back end. That's okay. Is that really what we want to focus on?
I don't know.
Because I feel like if what we can do is on the front end, given that identity shift of making them realize like you're an entrepreneur who cannot be anything else, and you're struggling. You're either struggling to be successful or you're struggling to like avoid being overwhelmed in your business. Like we get them to have that identity shift of you don't need to work hard. You don't need to work insane hours. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to do all these things that people think they need to do to be successful. You can keep things simple, be lazy, and have fun and still be successful. In fact, you'll be more successful by doing that. And it's like if we get them to have that identity shift and they realize this is who I am this now, like this is who I want to be, then it's just a question of putting an offer in front of them that's like, this is going to allow you to build that. And that could be 5-minute Facebook groups. Or it could be like something else. Like I'm sure we can come up with a bunch of other products, but it's like, I think that's like that is our job on the front end, whether it's in the webinar where you teach them like, hey, this is the identity shift you need to get. And by the end, they're like, yes, I'm convinced. What is next? And then what's next is whatever we're offering.
Yeah. Dang. Haley's
like
already got 84 people in her group. Good for her.
Who? I didn't hear who.
One of my customers.
Nice.
She has like 84 people in her group now. I don't know how well qualified her people are, but like she's starting to get some engagement and some. Okay. So I want to do a community audit with her group now and see what her, like how well her messaging is. I mean, if I can do like one session with her and get some tighter copy that gets people to be like, all right, I need to work with her. I mean, she's already been like, she's already paid me. So it's like, should focus on the people who are customers.
But I think
All right.
just this new clarity can really help us, because if we nail this message in the we have this whole like curiosity thing, and it's like we convey the message like this is who you need to be. Like being an entrepreneur is your whole identity. You cannot exist without that. And it's like, and we can like just draw them in with the prospect of like, is it possible to be a successful entrepreneur and fun, be lazy, enjoy life, enjoy the process, feel like it's not working? If we can pitch that and then get them to go through that identity shift in the webinar, and then we pitch the course at the end, like that's going to be really good, because we're qualifying so hard and getting them through that process beforehand, so that by the time they're like, we make the offer, they're like, okay, I realize that I'm an entrepreneur. I have no other option. And I also realize this is the solution. I need to keep things simple. I need to learn how to be productive, lazy. I need to learn how to have fun in business. It's like, if we can convince them of that, then it's just a question of, this is the product that's going to allow you to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like those people who are like us, or at least how we used to be, it's like, in our case, we were the ones who's like, we're an entrepreneur at heart. We can't be anything else, but we're struggling. And it's like, if someone came along and made us realize like, you can be productively lazy, you can have fun, you don't have to work hard, be overwhelmed, do all these things. Like, in fact, it's holding you back. You need to become this version of yourself, and then you're going to be successful. Like, we would have been like, hell yes, how do we do this? And it's because like, it's such a burning problem of like, people have struggled so much and so long trying to be an entrepreneur, and either failed or succeeded, and then they became overwhelmed. They're like, this is not what I wanted. either way, they feel trapped, they feel desperate, and they're like, if you can help me, I'll give you anything. So it's like, it's a very burning desire and a very like big problem that they're willing to pay for. Whereas like, I think this is more powerful than simply like, hey, we'll help you get more clients. Like, yeah, okay,
Just said
everyone.
something, you just said something that stuck out to me. And I'm Googling it right now. I don't see a lot of, okay. Productive laziness.
Yep.
Or like hyper performing, hyper perf uh, laziness for hyper performance or something. I don't know. Like
High
Mary,
performance laziness.
high performance laziness.
But I think it's good if we come up with like an intriguing term like that for each of the elements. It's like, you know, productive laziness. We're going to teach you productive laziness.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't know, whatever we come up with fun. So it's like something that's fun, but it's like it ties into
Mhm.
business, kind of sells the idea, but it's also intriguing. They're like, what is that exactly? If we're able to do that, and we have, let's say, like 3 things that we pitch, so we're like, we're going to teach you productive laziness.
Yeah.
I don't know, millionaire fun, just because I can't think of anything clever. And like a third element, as an example, it's like, this is what you get. Like it sells the idea enough that they understand the concept,
Mhm.
yet it's intriguing enough that they're like, I don't understand how that works. I need to learn about that.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's exactly what we've been doing for the last, what, almost 2 months now. It's
Yeah.
like we've been productively lazy. Like we've been very lazy. We've barely worked on the business, like actual work,
Mhm.
yet we moved so far beyond anything we ever had before.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot more, we've helped more people, we've gotten more useful feedback on real stuff. Like we've actually moved it, we've actually discovered more about ourselves that is more marketable.
Dude, I think that's what floaching is. It's laziness.
Hmm. High performance, let's see. High,
Underperformance.
high output laziness.
Ah,
I mean, I feel like there's something here.
definitely. And it's like when I said it, I'm like, that perfectly describes what we do.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if not a product, it certainly can become one of those like intellectual property things. It's like, here's my model of like high performance or like high output laziness. It's like, this is part of how I get things done. It's like, learn how to take it easy and have fun and be like, let yourself off the hook of having to stay busy so that you actually have the bandwidth to like the creative side of you isn't like being scared away from all the work that you have to do.
This could be one of our core, like,
Yeah.
what are the frameworks that we
Mhm.
teach?
Yeah.
And then we just need to come up with another like catchy one for the fun. It's like, it's not just about having fun, but it's like about having fun in your business.
Mhm.
I don't know what the term would be for that, but it's like if we come up with, let's say, 3 core like principles that we teach
Mhm.
with their own framework and their own catchy name, that'll be really good because we're like, hey, you're like, the ideal client is someone who cannot be anything else than an entrepreneur, who's either overwhelmed or hasn't succeeded yet.
Mhm.
and we'll teach you how to be productively lazy, whatever this other thing. It's like, that is very clear.
I know what it is too. I know like how to make it sexy. Because you were saying it the other day. I was like, what are the things that we are really good at? It's like people ask like, how do you like break the cycle of laziness, or how do I stop being lazy and be more productive? It's like, actually, what you need to understand is not that laziness is bad. It's not that laziness is good. It's that laziness is one of the most effective tools that you can use to become it's one of the most effective tools that you can use to create stuff, but you're using laziness wrong. So it's not like, it's like you're already an expert at this thing, but it's like knowing exactly what a screwdriver is and how to use it, but you're using it to like chip ice and try to make an ice sculpture, instead of being like, well, actually what this is is for opening up the, unscrewing stuff. Like, I don't know. I think there's an analogy here that we can help people, but it's like, we're not trying to say laziness is a good thing, because it depends. Laziness isn't a bad thing. It's like, we're not trying to do the first and obvious easy thing, which is like, everybody talks about productivity and how useful it is, but like, it's actually better to take breaks. It's like, that's not a new idea. That's like the laziest form of like, go against the grain of what everybody's saying and then say the opposite. It's like, but that's such a simplified or simplistic approach to the idea. But it's like, laziness is a tool and you don't know how to use that tool. And if you use it effectively, you can lean on it as one of the biggest ways to be creative and create productivity in your business.
All right, so let's say we go with 3, because 3 seems like a very good number for everything. So we have, productive laziness, or whatever we end up calling it. There's the fun, which we need to come up with a name for that. What would be the other thing? Is it
normal?
It's normal?
Boring. It's like, what's the thing that every successful business does? What are the things that like people who are, what is average for the people who are finding success? It's like, don't try to be special. Don't try to figure out like what your unique thing is. When you're starting out, what you want to do is copy what every single other successful business is doing. Just be average. Like, be the guy who's like, I'm not even very good at this yet, but I've got like 8 or 9 out of the 10 things that every basic business has. And it's like, you kind of do that sloppily and you've got a functional business that's going to actually make money.
Right. So the 3 things we're teaching, and I'm looking for a name for the fun one, but it's like, let's say high performance laziness, whatever, fun, and super normalcy.
Yeah.
Like, be so normal that you become like better than normal. So it's kind of like becoming unique by being so normal, rather than trying to be different. Because like, when you try to be different, you're just different for the sake of being different. Whereas if you become different through the process of becoming super normal.
Well, I think what it is like, we can't help but be different. That's why we always feel different. That's why we like naturally feel isolated but want to be connected. It's why we always are constantly second guessing ourselves. Like, do people think I'm weird? Or it's like, yeah, like the honest truth is, you know yourself better than most people ever will. And you know that you're different from people in some way that maybe you can't totally articulate. you're never gonna need to work hard to be different. What you need to do is work hard to be normal and be average. And so that you have a platform for your weirdness to actually, now it can stand out from the crowd. If you're just standing out and you don't have the basics of what need to be there to survive, it's like you're just painting a target on your back instead of it being an arrow that's like, I'm I'm like a basic resource and producer for this ecosystem. Come over here, like I'm useful. It's like you just draw a circle around yourself and be like, I'm doing nothing, I'm weird, it's like, and so then the immune system of life kicks in and you're like, well, I feel like I'm failing. I feel like I'm receding into my life. And it's like, I'm just failing.
Yeah. To come back to the goal that we came up with a couple of days ago, it's like you don't want to be different on the outside of the red ocean. You want to be the different at the center of the red ocean.
Right.
But I like this. So we have like our three core concepts: high performance, fun, and super normalcy, or like whatever are the names we come up with. But I feel like that pretty much encompasses everything that we're about.
Yeah, I think this is good. It's like if we lead with those values, it's like they're things that I think people want, but nobody's talking about. And when we educate people and define those values, it's like actually probably everybody that we want to be friends with wants this, but nobody's giving them permission to be like, yeah, I do want that. It's like, screw all professional stupids. I'm gonna go over play in the fun corner.
I like what you just said. What we are is professionally stupid. We're professional idiots.
I'm gonna go fill up my water. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So I think that we pretty much have the basics in order. So like I just took notes and it's like we can change the wording and everything, but I think like the core principles are there. So it's like our ideal client is someone who can't not be an entrepreneur. Our first framework is high performance laziness. Do less and achieve way more. Framework number 2 is the fundamentals of business. Have so much fun that you never have to work another day in your life. Framework number 3, super normalcy. How to be so normal you stand out from the crowd. Like in a nutshell, that is what we offer.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can change the wording and everything, but I think like that's pretty much all that we need. Then it's just a question of getting people to go through the shift of realizing that is what I need.
Yeah.
And then just making an offer of this is how you get that. Then that's it.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was like, you look at successful entrepreneurs and they just like sum up like in a couple sentences exactly what they do. And we're like, and when we were starting out, we're like, how? I feel so overwhelmed. And now it's like, yep, we're down to like 4 sentences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, dude. And this is where the power of association comes into play. So now what we need to do is like, as we're researching, I really wish there was a case study we could just borrow right away. Actually, I can think of one, but you make your case with data. So it's like, okay, this is great. This is a great, philosophy. Sounds sexy, but when you take your why am I blanking on the 2 Comma Club Award research that you're doing, like all of the funnels, it's like now you can back it up with some like high credible data and be like, okay, so we looked at like $16 million businesses. These are like the cream of the crop when it comes to standard online marketing. These are people who have built a business that have generated $1 million through one funnel. They've continued working on the same thing, honing it until it works. So all of these people are making at least $1 million. And it's like what we found is that they all have to do the same things in their business. You gotta generate leads. You gotta have traffic. You gotta have an offer that's really clear. You gotta provide value to your audience, like whatever things that we want to actually focus on. But it's like they all do this. Everybody has the same thing. It's like in order to get to the level where you're making just money consistently and you're not thinking about it, it's like you have to do the same exact things. They all sound like they're different businesses because you can't help but be a different kind of person with different skill sets, different experience. So your business that you build out is going to be something that is unique to you, but the business is the same. It's just boring. It's average. It's like you have to have the same exact things. And if you're not willing to build out the same things that everybody else who's being successful is, like, you just want to be different, but you won't at the same time be normal.
Yeah,
And
it's like,
you have to have both.
yeah, it's kind of like people, like, it's so important to them to be different that it's like, I prefer being different and failing over and over again than compromising my ethics and doing what everyone else is doing. It's like, yeah, but you're an idiot.
Right. Because if we all just like, there's a difference between everybody being unique and having nothing in common with everybody else, or everybody being unique and also staying connected to the same source. It's like, it's the difference between a tree and like blowing a cloud of dust. It's like there's nothing keeping it all together. It's like when you watch a movie where, like for instance, Star Wars, like the Death Star blows up, you see all these particles go in every single different direction. Every single one of them is going their own way, and nothing is tying them together. So it's just like disintegrates. Whereas like a tree, it's like you have this system where it's constantly spreading out in new directions, but it stays connected to the source. So the whole entire system is alive and feeding it itself. It's like the leaves gather light, sending nutrients down to the trunk. The roots are below the surface and they're sucking up water, feeding the system. And the whole tree grabs carbon from the air. It's like the whole thing builds the whole thing. Whereas if you only want to be different, you're gonna be part of a system that is like being destroyed. If you're willing to be different and at the same time find what's the thing that everybody has to do that is the same, then you're part of this like ever growing, ever increasing process. But then it's like, I don't know.
I just love this principle of, like, you can be different by becoming like super normal. It's like most people, like, for me, my entire life, I've rebelled against normalcy because I'm like, I want to be unique. I want to be different. I want to be special. And it's like, I can still do that. But the way to do that is by becoming so normal that it's like, get to the center. It's like, I become once again abnormal.
Yeah.
But in a productive way rather than just being for being
Yeah,
different.
because it's sort of like every single one of those things that is normal, so to speak, is different. But the difference between like all the things that are different and don't want to be normal, it's like those things like exist for a moment and then they're gone. Whereas like everything else that exists is like they're all different and they stay here because they were also willing to be the same and connected to like a bigger whole.
And I think the difference, like, if you're different just to be different, then people can sense like, yeah, he thinks he's better than me because he's different and unique and special. I don't like it. Whereas if you become so normal that you become unique, everyone relates to you. Kind of like, I don't know why that example popped into my head, but kind of like The Rock. It's like, Black people are like, oh, he's part black. White people are like, oh, he's part white. Hispanics like, oh, he's part Hispanic. It's like everyone loves him because he's everything.
Yeah.
He's like super most normal person, yet he's different than everyone else. But everyone loves him. So the thing is, we don't have to rock the boat. We just have to become the rock.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to think like, what's the difference between like pleasing everybody, like making everybody happy, and being normal in this definition? Like, how do you differentiate? it's not about making everybody happy. It's just about like the bare minimum things that allow you to survive.
I'm sorry. I want to take this seriously, but my mind keeps going in like different ridiculous directions. Like, no, take this seriously.
By the way, Guillaume, take this seriously.
Right, I guess I can. Sorry. So first thing, bare minimum, I just pictured a very, very small bear. And when you were talking about like how to please people, I'm like, well, it depends if you're talking about in a sexual manner or not. All right, now that that's out of the way, maybe I can focus. Nope. Brain's a blank. It's a blank brainvis. Man, I really love this. It's so simple. Like, ideal client framework 1, 2, 3, boom. We have the business. Now my question is, should we teach people how to use these 3 frameworks in a course or a challenge or something like that? Or is it just about getting them to go through that like emotional shift of, I understand this is what I need to be. It's like all they need is that transformation, like that emotional transformation and understanding, and that's enough. Or do we need to go through the process of teaching them like, hey, this is how you become productively lazy. This is how you have so much fun that it doesn't feel like you're working. This is how you be super normal that you become super normal.
I think, okay, I have a hunch that if we do it right, like we can define these things as our own, like, it sounds kind of stupid, but then it's like what we're actually doing is like helping people recognize themselves. So we're not really teaching them anything as much as helping them realize, oh, like these guys really kind of get who I am. So it's like we're helping them self-qualify in their own minds. Like, hey, somebody who was able to put a label on, oh, that's who I am. It's like that, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so what if we don't need to create a course or a training or something around this? It's more like you're saying, teaching them the principles, like selling them of this is who you are, this is what you want. Here are the terms you need to use to be able to understand it.
This is the perfect introduction post for a group. It's like, hey guys, like I'm a normal, lazy, fun-loving entrepreneur. Like I used to spend a lot of time like trying to figure out like how can I be more productive? How do I be less, I finally just embraced it. I'm like, I've realized that like my laziness is like my biggest superpower once I realized how to use it as a tool, not to like say it was a bad thing or it's like it's actually like really good that I'm lazy and can take time off. It's like, no, it's like this is it's like it's a skill set that you learn how to use correctly. And I'm like, I'm actually really good at this. I've been honing laziness for a long time. It just took me a long time to realize like the proper place where it is useful. And it's actually like creates a lot of high performance in my business.
So yeah, I think if we teach them this, like these are the 3 principles and the identity you need to adopt in order to be successful. And then we incorporate all 3 of these elements throughout whatever training or course that we give them or sell them. So it's like if we make sure that we incorporate like those three principles are at the core of everything that we teach, then we never need to create like an actual course around that. It's just
Yeah, I think in this model, it just like it lets people know like, hey, if you're also kind of like this, we'll probably get along. And if you've been frustrated by the standard things in the industry, like too much information, overwhelm, too many tasks, too many things to do, it's like we don't build our products that way. Like we want to have a business that's like super normal, super boring. The tasks are easy enough. You can even get other people to do it for you in your business. We like to do our business in a way that is fun. Like we're not here to act super professional and like it's like we have lives to, my little kid's gonna be like half naked running and screaming in the background. Like I'm on a call.
I'm naked a lot of times.
I'm on calls with like my business partner and my best friend for like 3.5, 4 hours a day. You're welcome to jump into those conversations, but I'm not gonna like not have those calls because that time is like that's one of the most fun parts of my life. I'm not gonna crowd that out with professional business calls, but you're welcome to step into my life and have fun with me and kind of get some stuff done in the process. And like I'm not going to do work that I don't need to do. So it's like if I can find any way to get out of doing more steps and still get the same result, I will do that. So anything that I teach you to do, it's because I didn't want to do anything beyond the bare minimum. It's like if I show you something that gets results, it's the least amount of work that you have to do to get results.
Okay, so I'm thinking like, all right, how do we apply those three frameworks or principles into the course? Super normalcy is already the basis of the course. It's like, what do you need most in business? Clients. What's the best, like the biggest source of clients? Facebook. What's the simplest way to build an audience with Facebook? Facebook groups. So it's like, that is super normalcy, that principle right there. It's like, that is the reason why we're teaching you how to build audiences in Facebook, because we want you to be normal, and that is the most normal and effective way to do it. And then the high performance laziness comes in as like, we know that you were overwhelmed in the past, we were too. So it's like, we simplified this to 5 minutes per day. Like it can't get any more lazy than that. Now, the only principle we're missing is like the fun element. So how do we incorporate that into the course? Like, obviously, it can be part of how you teach and the energy and the atmosphere, but I feel like there needs to be more than that.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it's something that needs to be like explicitly built in. It's like that's just kind of how we are. So we're telegraphing like this is like how we're gonna build products. It's like if you don't want it to be like if you are looking for somebody to like show up professionally on a call, it's like
You done fucked up because we're not those guys.
yeah, it's like that might happen accidentally. I might get on a call with you and provide a lot of value, and you might feel like it's presented professionally, it's worth a lot of money, but like that's not my goal. My goal is to have fun while I'm doing it. It's like helping people is fun for me, teaching is fun for me, hanging out with people is fun for me. It's like whatever happens that you might think of as professional has nothing to do with me trying to be professional.
Accidentally professional. I like it. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the like fun part of it is just like, this is just the mindset with which we created the course, with which we're teaching the course, with which you should go through the course.
Yeah, that's my hunch.
So the beauty of this, we don't even need to come up with a new course. We're just making, like, every time we come up with a new idea, we think like, oh crap, do we need to like redo things? Do we need to create a different course or a different offer? It's like every time it's just like, no, this is just purifying the entire process.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like now we're getting to the point where it's very, very pure and concentrated, to the point where you might get a head rush if, you know, you buy this course, because it's like so intense. You might have episodes where you just randomly run around like yelling and laughing hysterically. Those might be side effects. Man, I love this. It's like, it makes things so much clearer in my head. Like now I know what we're doing.
Hmm.
And it's like, this is a tribe that I want to be a part of, that I want to help create.
Yeah, me too.
Where it's like, before it's like, hey, you know, it's like your whole thing, like 5 Facebook groups, like, okay, it's great, but I don't really have any specific interest in that.
Uh-huh.
It's your thing, you're really good at it, and it's good for business, but myself, it's like, it's not really a passion. Whereas this, like creating this community, helping these people and living these principles in business,
Mm-hmm.
now that's what I'm talking about. And the funny thing is, like, the idea we came up with yesterday with the whole, like, you know, just improvise like an offer or whatever, like that would work perfectly well with this, because it just showcases exactly what we're all about.
Uh-huh.
Like maybe we're not meant to do that, but it's like, if we, this is perfect fit for a business. So I guess what we've figured out is our mission statement. It's like ideal client, core values.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I feel bad for, I was going to say normal people, but I can't say that anymore. I feel bad for people who are like we used to be, you know, like struggling of like, oh, I need to find
Snowflakes.
the client and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, it was so overwhelming because it wasn't who we really were.
Yeah.
Like this is just like, this is 100% us. This is our business.
I think I understand the term snowflakes now. It's like you want so hard to be special that you become fragile. Like it's very unique, but it's like it's so temporal. It's whereas like what you want to be is like part of a glacier.
Oh, I like it.
Like you want the rigidity and stability of knowing who you are. So it's like you don't want to be this dynamic like water is. It's like constantly volatile. It's like changing forms in all sorts of ways. It's like I'm gonna freeze. I'm gonna like solidify my state. It's like I just want to be special. But the thing is like when you're just by yourself, you're not propped up by any standard or system. So it's like, as soon as the environment changes, you will not last. It's like you might be special, hyper evolved to do something. It's like, but as soon as like that paradigm shifts, I mean, this I'm talking about myself here. It's like anytime my routine changes, my productivity and my mental health just like plummets because I don't have. So what is my normal? Like, what are the things that have to be there all the time? And if I don't have a system that keeps that stuff there, it's like I struggle. Whereas if I know, it's like, well, what are the things? It's like it's not a rigid routine that keeps me, but it's like I know I need like some rest. I need to be eating. I need some amount of exercise. I probably need a little bit of stimulants in my life to like keep my energy like in check. Um anyway. A floral. That's what I was looking for. Whoops. A floral, a floral, a floral.com.
The my own bio, even though it's really kind of pointless, but whatever. So kind of like I was kind of following the same like structure as yours. So it's like Guillaume's a normal, lazy, fun-loving guy who happens to have published 7 books, been read by over 10 million people, and runs ultra marathons on a whim. He's a self-described expert. Like, it doesn't really matter, but it's just like if we have that, because like this is our entire business. Like ideal client, 3 core principles, your bio, my bio, that's the entire business right there.
Oh no.
Right.
I just realized I think I didn't capture any of these screenshots. Crud. Sure didn't. Windows has a really dumb, like their screenshot tool doesn't actually like save the photo anywhere.
I didn't even know there was a screenshot tool in
it's
Microsoft.
if you press the Shift Windows S key, it will let you find the anyway. This life.
Oh, so it's just the snipping tool, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like it doesn't copy the
Oh, it just takes a screenshot.
it doesn't
yeah.
It copies the whatever you took a screenshot of to the clipboard, and then you have to manually tell it to save.
Yep.
Which is really dumb, I think. Oops, go back. This is really really fun. I feel like I'm watching my millionaire status like come into being. I'm grabbing the logos of places that I've done work for. Nice. And I'm like, hey, this is like one of those legit websites where it's like, as seen on these brands, it's funny. Like you tell yourself you're not good, so that's the story you believe until you're like, no, I'm a freaking millionaire. I just need to like keep being that long enough for people to see it. And it's just like all of these things start clicking into place, and you're like, wait a sec, I did this and I did this and I did this and I just decided I was going to be that. It's like to me, that stuff didn't exist until I decided to do that. And it's like there's no difference to me between like forgetting that I had done that versus like once I decided to be there, it's like I time traveled back to those places and like did that stuff so that I could be like, oh, wait a sec, I am a million. Like I have done stuff that's worthy of like talking about. And it's like, it's to me, it's like, okay, you can explain it however you want from an objective standpoint. To me, it's like, I didn't like that stuff wasn't there. It wasn't part of how I talked about myself and how I view myself. But now it's like, oh snap, like this is that stuff that sells. This is the stuff that creates credibility. This is like, and anyway, it's just really super interesting how like how much control you have over like deciding what version of reality you're going to live in. So interesting.
That is purpose, like the power, sorry, of like manifestation. Because in order to manifest something, you need to believe that you're the type of person who has that.
Yeah.
It's like that's how manifestation works, because you believe that you are that person.
Yeah. It's just so wild.
All right, what I need to do is go on the website and go through the stories and actually do the math of like adding up all the reads that I've had to know how many actual millions there are.
Mm.
Which can be a very fun process.
Yeah, I did the same thing this morning. I was like, I wonder how much we've made in like total sales over the last 3 years. And it's like $31,500. I mean, like if you just handed me that money, I'd be like, ooh, gee, thanks. But like in terms of revenue, and since we're selling books, it's like we've made almost nothing. We've probably lost money in like taxes and stuff that we've had to pay, but it's like at least like from a business owner standpoint, from a millionaire standpoint, it's like I know what the data is. I know how much money I've made. I know how many customers I have. And it's like those are the things that make the difference. It's like knowing what your numbers are. And it also shows you like, oh shit, like I have all of this potential that I'm just not doing anything with. Because I mean, when you say, oh, I've only made 30 grand in 3 years of owning a business, it's like that's terrible performance. Until you, I mean, unless you are an experienced business owner, you're like, well, actually, I got paid 30 grand to grow a list of qualified prospects. It's like that is a great, it's like, you know, it's like that's a great result. I made 30 grand. Well, I didn't make 30 grand. I generated $30,000 of revenue for a client while helping them grow their audience from 400 to 4 million. It's like, that's, you know, it's like I helped them get paid to grow their audience. Now that's a different like way to look at the data. But it also shows you like how subjective marketing is. It's like you just have to learn how to keep turning the cube until it's like the thing that you want to see is in front of you.
Damn it. I was trying to add up all the money that I've made in the last 6 years from my books.
Mhm.
And I like second last year, I screwed up and I like the totals. I have to restart.
Oh no.
The only thing that annoys me is I used to have like a running total of all my income from my erotica writing, but then I'm like not keeping track of anything anymore, so it doesn't matter, and I deleted it, but I didn't keep the total. Like I wish I would have kept that.
Hmm. I was a featured guest speaker on the evening news on NBC5 in a major media market, one of the top 5 media markets in the United States.
Nice.
I was on screen for 2 seconds.
Matter.
Still got on TV.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like I've been thinking about a post I could write about this. Like I was in front of millions of people twice and I blew it both times. It's like the one story I got on TV, viewership of like hundreds of thousands of people every evening, millions of households that NBC is part of, and they put the story online afterwards, and it's like the thing that people remember of me is like the sound bite that they use of me going, "It was surreal." And like my friends made fun of me like for weeks after that.
That's awesome.
But, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you can look at that as a failure, or I can share the part of the story, which is that I was a student filmmaker who worked at the TV station, and I knew that news crews sometimes use footage from like amateur photographers or like freelance videographers. And so as I'm driving to school, I saw a fire. I took some video of the fire as the house was on fire. And then there was a bunch of news crews there later, which just happened to be, usually fires don't make the news, but it ended up being a big national story because there was a big vehicle recall, and the fire was linked to the car catching on fire. So when I went over there, I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll make a quick buck, like selling the footage of the fire to them. And everybody there was like, I gave the footage to the NBC news crew, the CBS news crew, and I offered it to the ABC team, and they're like, no, we don't want it. But neither one of them wanted to pay me. They're like, who's this kid who doesn't know anything? It's like he doesn't understand what he has is valuable. Because I'm just like, hey, I shot this footage. I thought maybe you could use it. And I don't know if you guys like pay, for footage or anything. So they're immediately like, he doesn't know anything. We're not gonna give him any money. But the thing that I had was super valuable. It's like what they're there for is to capture the emotion and the noteworthiness of the story. I had visual content that was unique, that specifically talked about, that was what people wanted to see. I had footage of the fire of people's house burning down. And it's like that what led the news. It's like one of the first images that came on in the story. And, I got a shout out on CBS. They interviewed me on the NBC crew interviewed me and asked me like, what was it like when you were here? And, so I said some stuff, but it's like, I didn't know what to say to look good on camera or how to somehow tie in like who I was with what was going on. All they cared about was this is relevant to the story. And it just so happened that what I had was valuable in that moment. And that's the thing, is like what you have can be valuable to the right people. Or you can look at your experience as like, I just look like a buffoon and I'm like, I feel like I've not done anything. It's like both are true. Like which story do you want to be the real story? It's like both are part of your life. You're never gonna like get rid of one version of yourself. But the part that people want to see that makes them trust you and be like, oh, this person knows what they're doing, they can actually help me. Of course you can help them. But like people need something to give them confidence before they like take a risk. So you have to share. It's like, oh, by the way, I've been on the news in front of like hundreds of thousands of people with content that I created that was, helps NBC grow their brand.
Yeah, it's what you were saying before. I forget the exact like numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about like, oh, I've made like this much in the last like 3 years. But it's like if you frame it from the perspective of I've made this much doing this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're training ourselves to move so much faster, it's like that's actually a valuable skill. Because now you're not limited by time, you're limited by what you accomplish. So it's like, hey, if you become really good at helping people scale from 400 to 4 million, and you made like 50,000 for it, and you can do that in a month, you just made $50,000 in a month.
Yeah.
And it's like numbers don't really matter, because I was just doing the math for fun. So the last 5 years before this current year, because it's not over, I made like $20,456.61 from my writing. Just like, yeah, okay, 5 years, that's like an average of what, 4,000 per year? So it's like, it's ridiculous. But
still, I mean, it's like, that's a decent little side hustle, passive income stream. And
yeah, like, I don't know the total, but I'd say probably around maybe like 45, 50,000 by now that I've made from my writing. So it's not like I'm rich, but still, very few people can say they made that much from their writing.
Right? Oops.
I'm doing the quick basic math just for fun. It's more motivating when I go backwards in years, because the amount that I make every year goes up and up, because in the beginning I was making more.
All right.
So I've made at least 40,000, like more, there's more that I haven't like counted. So like probably around 45, I'd say.
Well,
So
you're beating me.
well, that's since 2013.
Well,
So
I still haven't gotten any dollars from my business yet. It's still bleeding cash.
that's like a little over 9 years to make 45,000 bucks. So
So
you do the math, 5,000 per year on average.
yeah, I'm about, we're probably just over, we're not quite at 10 grand a year, I think, because with like expenses and fees and stuff. Um,
Oh, that's not counting all the money that I spent.
hmm,
If you calculate the money that I spent, that's like minus 15,000. So I'm down to 30,000.
hmm.
Plus, if you count the amount of hours invested into this, I'm making like what, $1 an hour if I'm lucky. Uh,
But still, I think this is the thing. It's like these are the things that like somebody, I mean, I think we'll kind of start on our own of like, okay, we have the bare minimum, like things that people want to see that give you credibility of wanting to uh, work with you. But I think having like some professional guidance and coaching, like Brian's helping me somewhat. Like I think leaning on people in my network that I know that are good at it's like helping you shape your message and that sort of thing. And I think what we're doing is like building a professional looking funnel. All of that stuff. It's like within the next week or two, I think it's gonna like we're gonna hit one of those like level up um, moments where it's like it's one of those things where people are like, where did this person come from? It's like all of a sudden they're just like all over the place. And why am I just now seeing them? But it's just like all of the stuff that cumulatively makes up like your life. It's like you just finally sift through it enough to be like, oh, here's one of the versions of me that's valuable enough for other people to pay attention to, like showing that to people. But it's like most people aren't doing the work or having the help to know what to do to be able to organize those things in a way that makes sense for other people.
yeah, I think like we've done most of the work that we needed to do in order to be successful. Now it's just a matter of, all right,
Yeah.
let's just get it and actually get paid for it.
So let me try rewriting the offer because I've got some good social proof shots. I've got some brands. I've got some great results and stories to share. So it's like that's really what you need. You just need to organize the stuff in the right way, the right order. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me see.
Man, I'm doing the math for fun of like, all these things that I've sold and including like free downloads and just like reads. And just like not from free websites, but like from actual like, Barnes and Noble and Amazon, like all those, normal platforms,
Mm-hmm.
I'm already up to 144,000.
Mm.
I don't know. I want to do like the entire total math of like, all right, approximately how many people have read what I've written thus far.
Okay, what do you think about uh
I hate it.
think about using that company to like build out our funnel?
Ooh, that reminds me. Um, one of the no, actually no, not one of the guys I reached out to. Someone who sent me a friend request.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, I'm also building a funnel. Like, that's what I do. I build funnels for people. And he's
Uh-huh.
like, I'm also creating a course. I've been working on it for the past year. Like, if you want, I can send you the funnel so you can look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we want to hire someone, maybe we could make a deal with him.
Hmm.
I don't know. I haven't looked at his funnel yet. He sent it during the training that I had this morning.
Who is this? One of the people you've been
Some
talking to?
person in the ClickFunnels group who sent me a friend request, and we just started talking.
Oh, gotcha.
So he's not one of the like 2 Comma Club award winners. If so, I'd be like, fuck that, we're going with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think maybe it could be worth it. Like you're saying, just building out the entire structure of the funnel
Mm-hmm.
and just having like a bullet point by point thing of like, all right, this is the first step in the funnel. This is what we want to cover. Here's the information, and just hand it over. It's like, all right, build it out for us. That could make sense. It could be worth like $97.
All right, let's see here. Oh, I know what I was going to do today. Here's my calendar. I'm going to finish my message map homework for
What's
the
a
offer.
message?
The offer building course that Brian's teaching. He's showing you how to do the like organization of the of the what you do for people in a way that it's an offer that people want to buy.
Okay.
So I feel like I should do the homework to at least clarify like the stuff that I need to have in front of me, and then I could go to like those funnel builders, be like, all right, I at least have the stuff that they might be asking me for um, in front of me. Oh, by the way, I was gonna try and take some more professional pictures.
Yeah.
I brought my tripod and my phone holder so I can get some better looking uh, photos.
All right, cool. I mean, I would offer to help, but there's nothing, it's not like I can pick the pictures or anything.
All right, let's see here. Download the workbook.
So from all the different websites for all the different pen names, I'm about around 160,000, not counting the free websites.
160,000 of
Yeah, like
readers
purchases and downloads from retailers like Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and so on and so forth.
of like paid. Um,
No,
oh,
paid. It's just like I'm trying to calculate the total amount of reads. So like how many people have read whatever. It's funny because like 150, 160,000, it's like, all right, on one free story on one of those other like websites where you publish story for free, it's like one story has more than that. Like the average story has more than that. It's funny. Anyway, so I'm like doing this, but I can do that later. So if there's something we should be doing that's more productive, like we can totally do that.
um, no, I don't think so. I think right now I just need to get this. I need to do these exercises so I have so I have the information thought out and articulated.
Okay.
Good grief. Big is this?
Yeah, okay. Maybe 10 million was an exaggeration. I don't know, because I've done everything except one, and I'm at 2.2. But the one that's left is the one with like most of the stories. So we'll see. Even if it's only 5 million people, like it's still pretty impressive. Okay.
You've heard this idea said many different ways, but what's your big promise, your big result, your big outcome? I'm going to use the word outcome a lot because outcomes, results, solutions, these are what people buy. And so when we want to really have substance, we're going to talk about, when you work with me, this will happen for you. When you join my program, this will happen, this will happen, and this will happen. So we have our major outcome, which you see a lot of marketing talking about what's that big promise, what's that major outcome, and then there's a couple other minor outcomes. Now, what are the other things, the other outcomes, sometimes they're steps. So sometimes, you start with a certain outcome one, and once you complete that, then you can get this outcome two, and then outcome three, and outcome four. So you can think of these as milestones. What are the major steps to getting your big promise goal? I'm going to show you an example with this, but just think, okay, for your big promise, what are the, I'll say less than 5 steps maximum. What are the 5 steps that if you have these 5 things, they kind of all add up to your big promise? Or what are 5 things along the way that you have to learn? 5 skills, 5 tools, 5, and it could be 3. 3 is quite fine. In fact, I use 3 in a lot of my examples.
Oh my goodness gracious. So many things. So many things to do.
All right, so I was a little off. It's not 10, it's around 7 million.
That's nothing to sneeze at, dude.
Oh, definitely not. All right, so let's update my bio. Read by 7 million people. Actually, this is pretty good because I published 7 books and have been read by 7 million people. Like, okay, the amount of people who actually read the books, like those actual books, is probably more around like a couple thousand, but that's beside the point.
So you could have a funnel for your book where you're like, hi, I'm Guillaume Sauvé. I've been read by 7 million people. Here are the 7 books in my series, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I don't know.
I like this number. I should probably stop here. 7 books, 7 million. Like, if I publish more books, then it's going to be like less than 1 million per book. And that just seems, I don't know, crappy.
You just have to keep writing more porn.
Oh, dang.
Dude, you should finish the series and then do like porn fan fiction of Will Save. Officially sanctioned by the author.
The thing is, like, 2 of the 3 main characters are underage because it's young adult. So I guess it's like at the end of the series when they're adults.
You just have you could have it be like I mean, in the porn version, be like he's under some sort of, I don't know, some sort of mind spell or something that makes him think that he's a teenage kid, but it is actually some sort of like, I don't know. Who, you know how stupid the logic is in those kinds of stories.
I mean, or it can be an alternate reality where they're just older. Oh, an alternate reality in which like they're porn stars.
Or he has to like,
And I guess like since John is Kara's father, it's like I guess in the other reality, like she's adopted. Just weird, uh,
what?
all right, so now I know. 7 million. The thing is, if it was important, I just wanted to inflate that number. I could literally take every single story that I've published and sold and publish it for free on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like most people will never like go buy it anyway, so it's not like I'm losing money.
Yeah.
Millions and millions more reads from that, but it's like it's not really important at this point. Crap, I gotta get my food. I just realized. But
I kind of want to just do like a non-serious everything.
not serious.
Like,
Everything.
all right, let me show you my Be More Rich framework. It's like, just come up with stupid names for everything. It's like everything follows the same model and it's like it makes sense logically, but it's like everything's just got stupid names.
Don't be an idiot framework.
Yeah, exactly.
So thinking,
All right, so I mean, this is the big promise. It's like be more rich. I mean, you could do that by inherited money. You could be criminal. Or you can grow a business. I mean, that's your options. So raise your hand if you want to be a criminal. Not too many picking that option. Who wants to inherit more money? You ready for your family to die so that you can? It's like, okay, first, are your family rich? Like,
Right.
okay,
The obvious option is kill them. But let's just ignore that one for now. We'll come back to it later.
So I guess for most of us, the option is grow a business. And that's how we're gonna be more rich. So let's talk about how do we be more rich? Here are the steps. Here's what we're going to be more. Good at something. So what's the thing I'm good at? I'm good at having fun and being lazy.
I mean, are you?
I mean, I do it a lot. So, I mean, everybody says once you get 10,000 hours in, you're an expert. Well, I think it's fair to say I am an expert at having fun and being lazy. So be good at something. I'm an expert at being fun and having lazy. Being late, having fun and being lazy. Being fun and having lazy. Be good at something. Now, then you have to be good at convincing other people to give you their money. So you got to be good at something. Now you just have to get people to pay you for that thing. And then get paid on repeat.
Get paid on repeats. You just get paid the same money over and over again, so you never actually make any more money.
So let's see here. Okay, so this can't. All right, in the done for you model.
Wait, we're offering a done for you model now?
No, we're offering a fun for you model. The done for you model is like, I mean, yeah, I think there's going to be like here's the course, here's the done for you.
Because like I have nothing against done for you in the beginning, so we can finish market research and perfect everything. Like I don't want. Well, I mean, I'm not the one delivering, so it doesn't really change much. But I don't want you to be stuck in that and be kind of like, become trapped in the business. So it's like if we need to do that in the beginning to learn stuff and to perfect the material and figure out exactly what people need, sure. But if we
I have no problem like doing the stuff if it's creating sales, and like I have no fears about being stuck in something. It's like I'm really good at like pawning stuff off on other people. So it's like once we start having like regular processes and regular calls, like I'm gonna write stuff up pretty quickly about this is the formula, this is the framework. We can hand this off to like commission salesmen. I can write up SOPs for that kind of stuff. Like that's the kind of stuff I do like in my job, my everyday job, is training teams. So like that, I'm not worried about that. It's the skill set of selling what we have because nobody will do it for us until we prove that it's valuable. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's what all of this whole the last 2 years has been. It's like, how do I learn how to organize a bunch of value and put it in front of somebody? So somebody's like, I want to give you some money. All right. So
But my only question is like, do we need to do, because like, isn't that what the webinar is for? So it's like, we intrigue them with like a concept or a promise or something like that to get like to sign up to the webinar. And then the webinar, you teach them, this is what you need to be. And then at the end, you just present the product of this is the product that's going to allow you to live your life as that new version of yourself.
yeah. Okay, should I feel like maybe this is a waste of time. Maybe I should just schedule a call with those funnel people and have them tell me like, hey, you're not ready, or like, oh, like here's the stuff that you need to fill out and blah, blah, blah. And maybe we'll just have like the framework of, oh, so like start plugging in the information. I mean, which is, I guess is the webinar too.
Yeah, I feel like we're just being lazy. We just need to sit down and do the webinar.
Yeah.
It's like yesterday we started and then we kind of got lazy and distracted and didn't do it. But it's like, if we sit down in an hour or two, we can knock it out.
All right. So what if we did it? What if we did it this way? Instead of trying to fill out the webinar and like formulate the presentation, what if you just step through the webinar and ask me the questions? So it's like, go to each slide, ask me the information, and then I'll say it, and then we'll just record the session of you like interviewing it and answering it, and then we can go back and like drop in the information. That way we just like make it all the way through, and then we've seen like, oh yeah, we have everything we need here.
I'm just wondering, should we go through the webinar exactly or go through the webinar structure and just hit those bullet points?
Well, I don't know. Let me go to the bathroom.
Well, fine. I'm going to go P2 then. R2 P2. No, 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 no.
Okay. I think what I actually need to do, whoops, I think what I actually need to do is not the full. Okay, well, no, go ahead. I can do this later. Let me just, sales, call, pitch. Okay. All right, so let's do this.
Sorry, a message just popped up on my screen as a text, and I don't know what it's about, but it's like the message just said people are asking dumb questions. I'm like, that's what we do. All right, so I'm thinking if I just go through like the basic structure of a webinar, and we're like, instead of just, you know, filling in everything step by step and like slide by slide, what if we just use the basic outline of like, these are the points we need to hit, and just kind of like fill it out ourselves from there. Because otherwise it's not going to be organic, it's not going to feel natural to us. And I think that's why we've been fighting it. So let me just go back through my notes. My sexy notes. I don't know. I was trying to do something that didn't work. All right, so here are the things that we need. We need to know how to teach a framework, then we need to close that. All right, we need the big domino. The big domino. That was weird. I don't know why I did that. Sorry, this might take like 5-10 minutes while I just go through everything and kind of structure everything.
Yeah, no problem.
My response to people are just asking dumb questions was, sorry, I'll stop asking dumb questions. I'm such an ass. I love it. Oops. I'm having so much fun.
Yeah.
Man, we were idiots before. You know, trying to work hard, you know, do stuff. We sucked. Part of the structure is like secret 1, secret 2, secret 3. It's like if we want to save time, we can just keep secret number 2 and go like directly. Oh, man. I'm having fun. It just kind of blows my mind how we can have this much fun and actually the business.
Yeah.
Like it's so counterintuitive.
So what are we doing again?
I don't know.
Are we going to go the perfect webinar? Or are you finding like the bullet points of?
Oh yeah, I'm just finding like the basic bullet points we need to hit for the perfect webinar. So it's like in the intro, we need to hit like this, and this, and then in the content, like, oh, here's the one thing, here's the 3 secrets, and then like just the basic structure, and then we can just kind of go in and fill it out, and then use that to go out and create the slides after that.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I thought you were being sarcastic when you're like, wait, what are we doing? All right, I'm just wondering, what do you think we should, like, how should we order it? Because for him, like he ordered it in the intro, there's the bold promise, then the hook to the end, the command attention, but that's just a general rule of like, hey, you need to command attention with your presence. So it's like bold promise, hook to the end, qualify yourself in future pace.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the webinar, like the actual order of the slides is different. So I'm like, maybe the order isn't super important. So what makes the most sense of the order for those elements? It's like, obviously the bold promise is first, because that's like the whole, like, that's the intro to the webinar.
Right.
So should you then move into, this is the bold promise, and then the future pace? So it's like, in this webinar, I'm going to teach you this, and you're going to get to this point in the future. Like that's your goal. So it would be kind of like bold promise and future pace. And then maybe introduce yourself and like why you're good to teach this, and then hook to the end. It's like, or maybe before, like hook to the end before you introduce yourself. So it's like bold promise, then future pace. So it's like, this is what we're going to cover. This is what you're going to get as a result of it. And then the hook to the end. And then it's like, all right, you introduce yourself, explain why you're the person to teach them this. And then you kind of transition into the content. That seems like the most logical to me.
Okay, so bold promise, talk about what we're gonna talk about. Tease what to stay for at the end. And then introduce myself.
It's yeah, it's more like the bold promise and then like future pace. It's like sell them the dream of like, I'm going to teach you this, and that's going to allow you to have this lifestyle, this freedom, this whatever they want. So it's kind of like get them to imagine themselves in the future. So it's kind of like, this is the bold promise. Like, this is what I'm going to teach you. And then it's like, this is what you're going to get from what I'm going to teach you and the life that you can expect. This is like the reason why I'm teaching you this is so you can have the freedom to be able to travel the world. And you're going to be able to enjoy business rather than being forced to slog through. And it's like kind of sell them what they're going to get as a result of it.
Right.
And then the hook to the end is like, and make sure you stay till the end because I'm giving away this amazing bonus. And then it's like, all right, now that we covered that, my name's Aaron, and you kind of introduce yourself and qualify yourself like, hey, I've helped people go from like build a group from 400 to 4 million. And it's like, work with Amazon and HBO and like, all those things. Actually, I don't know if you did HBO, probably not, but
I have HBO.
You do, okay.
Well, I mean, by having by being like a viewer, am I helping them grow their brand? I don't know. That's probably a little stretching it.
I don't know. You're
I've grown their brand by one viewer.
I help them grow their audience. Never said how many people. I'm a person, I count. Well, I can say I've worked with Disney Plus. Well, I mean, I worked with Disney, I worked with Amazon, I worked with Netflix, I worked with Paramount, I worked with everything.
Oh, I mean, I can say that I've hired all those companies.
True. All right. Oh yeah, and we also probably need to build rapport, but maybe that's in the qualifying section. Like the build rapport is justify their failures and like allay their fears and throw rocks at their enemies and like confirm their suspicions and encourage their dreams. Like, I don't know exactly where that would fall into. So it's like, maybe it's in the future pace, maybe it's in the qualify yourself section, or a mixture of the two. I don't know.
So what is that called again?
Building rapport.
Building rapport.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like, say like, hey, I know that you failed multiple times, but it's not your fault. Like, society, the way it is right now, projects a certain image of what it is to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that way. It's not your fault. And it's like, don't worry, I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly how to change that and how to become, or whatever. It's like, like others. Anyway, whatever. I don't need to walk you through this right now. I'm just wondering which part does it, like, do we include this in?
Yeah.
It's like bold promise, future pace. Maybe like in that section.
Yeah, I feel like that should be like one of the first things we do, like right at the top.
It's like, if we begin, it's like, hey, this is the bold promise. Then it's like, I know you've been tricked in the past by bold promises like this. This is different. And then you kind of like, justify why they failed in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't worry, we're going to walk you through step by step and like throw rocks at their enemies. So it's like, the reason you failed before is because marketers in general are more interested in making money than actually helping you. Confirm their suspicions. Like, you've probably been suspecting this entire time that it doesn't have to be difficult, that it can be easy and fun. And that's exactly what we've discovered and exactly what we're going to teach you. And then in the last part, encourage their dream, is like, and with everything we teach you, you can have everything like and you describe the life that they want.
Yeah.
It's like, just quickly walk them through that process. Be really good. And then we can move on. It's like, and make sure you stay till the end to get this special bonus. And then you introduce yourself. And then once you introduce yourself, it's like, all right, let's begin. So it's like, here's the one thing, secret number one, walk through the framework and just teach. And then once that's done, we just move on to the stack. And like, now that you understand the new identity that you need to have in order to be successful, here's how you can how you need to grow your business using the exact 3 strategies that we talked to you before. And then you kind of walk them through. It's like, in order to have a successful business, you need clients. The best way to get clients is through Facebook and through building an audience on Facebook. And that's principle number 1. Then principle number 2, we want to keep it as simple as possible and be lazy, like productively lazy.
Yeah.
So we kept 5 minutes per day so you don't get overwhelmed. And we came at it from an approach of, let's just have fun creating this. Let's have fun like going through the process. Let's enjoy every step of the way. And it's like you're reinforcing everything that you taught before. And at the same time, you're showing them like, we created this course using these 3 core principles. So it's not just like, oh, this is what you need to do and here's a product you can buy. It's like, no, we taught you why it's important to have these 3 things, and we created this course to help you succeed using those 3 core principles. So it's like each section kind of like walks into the next one. Oh yeah, we should probably also mention at some point, maybe right after the bold promise. So the bold promise is like, if you're like actually no, I was gonna say like, be like, this is who it's for and this is who it's not for. But at this point, like they're in the webinar, there's no point in saying, if you're this kind of person, it's not for you, because they're already there. So it's like, I think this would be more making that clear when they sign up for the webinar. This is what we teach, and it's for this kind of person. If you're not that kind of person, this is not for you. That way we don't need to re-qualify them in the webinar. Plus, it seems kind of dumb having some webinar and be like, hey, if you're not this kind of person, you're not a right fit. And the person's like, why the fuck am I here? Like that, I don't think that would be a good strategy. All right, so then where do we include the big domino? Maybe after you build rapport. Oh yeah, I think that makes sense. So it's like the bold promise, then the future pace / build rapport. After that is the big domino of like, my goal with this is to show you and make you understand that you don't need to do all this work. It doesn't need to be difficult. I want to teach you how being an entrepreneur can be fun, like being productively lazy, and this. And it's like, kind of like the big domino is like, this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. This is what I'm going to teach you. And make sure you stay till the end, because I'm including this bonus. And it's like that segues perfectly into that. And then you move on to introduce yourself. I think that makes sense. So it would be bold promise, future pace / rapport building, the big domino, hook to the end, and qualify yourself. And then we move into the teaching portion. That makes sense? Yes, no? Hello?
Trying to pull up the slide deck so I can kind of look at these things in context. So the title slide, intro, rapport, what the opportunity is. This is for big goal or the goal, big domino. Yourself, Epiphany Bridge. Backstory. Accomplish. Hit. Experienced.
Yeah, because this makes a lot of sense. It's like the bold promise of like, I'm going to teach you how to, be lazily productive. Anyway, high performance laziness, the fundamentals of business, and what was the other one? Anyway, whatever the name is, and it's like the bold promise, but like without telling them what it actually is. And then it's like building the rapport of like, hey, I know you failed in the past, and like, allay their fears and throw out to their enemies, confirm suspicion and encourage their dream. And then it's like, all right, my goal with this webinar is to get you from where you are now. So, struggling, overwhelmed, like not succeeding in business, whatever that is. And I want to get you to this point where you understand business does not have to be difficult. You can be lazy and still be productive. You can do business and have fun, so it doesn't feel like work. And you can like be a normal person and still stand out from the crowd. And then like make sure you stay till the end to get this bonus. And then it's like, hey, I'm Aaron. This is why I'm qualified to teach you everything. And then let's begin. All right. Secret number one is how to wait. I'm trying to remember which one is the first one. Anyway, the order doesn't matter, but it's like, all right. Secret number one is high performance laziness. And then you kind of like go through that process of introduce it by name, then describe it, share how you learned or earned it, share the strategy, so the outline of it. Then you share the tactics, show how it works for others, so a few testimonials, and then move on to the next and repeat the same process for the other two. And that's pretty much like the teaching portion. Maybe you can like review, answer a few questions or whatever, and then it's like, all right, the next step, once you understand this, it's like, all right, how do you use this and apply it to business? Well, we created a course to do exactly that. And then you present the course and you sell everything and do the value stack and then the close, and that's pretty much it. Like, I think that's all the points we need to hit.
So this stuff, high performance laziness, fundamentals of business, the average and not special, that's the stuff that all goes into the identity of the person we want. Like, so this is our big domino, right?
Yeah, like that's the big domino. You want to get them to the end to be like, to realize like in the beginning there, I need to work hard and be serious, all these typical things. And by the end, we want to get them to believe like, okay, I am this person now. I believe this is the way that a business should be done. And this is who I want to be. It's like we sell them on the concept. Like this is also the secrets, the core, like this is the teaching. This is the like value part of the webinar. So it's like, even if they don't purchase, they're going to come away with a new identity. And I feel like if we can get them an identity shift, that sells them completely, because they're like, okay, this person for free made me realize that I'm doing things the wrong way, and it can be so much easier. Even if they don't buy, they already like you because they're like, this person changed my life. It's like this is probably going to be the portion you enjoy the most because it's the teaching portion, the emotion portion.
Yeah. So like, what's the belief shift with the be average, not special? It's like they're.
But it's not about being average. It's about being
Normal.
so normal that you become super normal, like beyond normal. So it's like, it's just reframing it. So it's like, it's not like you need to be like everyone else, but you need to be so much like everyone else that you become unique, but it becomes unique in a valuable way. So it's like, rather than excluding yourself from society by saying, I'm different, you're including yourself so much to the point that you become different within the community. It's like, as long as we get them to understand that, it's not about you need to be normal, boring, and average. It's like you need to be so normal that you become extraordinary, but in a way that everyone can relate to, rather than in a way that you're just weird, different. And it's like, if you explain it, like as an example, like using the blue and red ocean example or the iceberg example, or like, knowing us, we can come up with an analogy that people will understand. But it's like getting them to understand that the way to be unique is not by trying to be unique, is by trying to be so normal that you become unique as a result of it.
I feel like you have something there that I'm not understanding. Because I would have described it a little bit differently, but I feel like you're saying something that I'm missing somehow. See if you can.
Well, the way that I understand it is, most people in business are like, I need to be unique, I need to be different, I need to be original. And by going through that process, they distance themselves from the audience. So it's like, let's say they're like, to use an example of like a community, let's say a village. You're like, okay, I want to be different, I want to be unique. And everyone else is just normal living in the village. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a house outside the village and create my own little world with my own garden, everything. It's like, yeah, okay, you're different, but you're different living like isolated from the community. Whereas what we want to teach people is like, you want to be such an integral part of the community that you become like different, but as part of the community. So it's like, you want to be the person who goes around like helping everyone, being friends with everyone, encouraging everyone, believing in everyone, to the point where it's like, there's no one else like you in the community, but you're at the center of the community and everyone relates to you, everyone loves you. So it's like, you are unique, but in a way that connects you rather than in a way that divides you. That is the way that I understand this concept.
Okay. I see. So the thing you're taking away is be be more connected rather than less connected. And the way we're saying that is find a way to relate and be normal in a, like, for everybody that is
Yes.
in the community. So
In
it's
the
like,
example of business, look at businesses and we're like, okay, what makes this business unique? What makes it different than other businesses? And we're like, okay, I need to do that for my business. And we try to be so unique and original that we just end up being like completely different and people can't relate. What we should be doing is looking at do all these other successful companies have in common? How can I replicate that to the point where I have so many proven methods combined within my business that it becomes unique, but in a proven, successful, connected way?
gotcha.
Like the end result is the same. You are going to be unique. You are going to stand out from the crowd, but you're, instead of doing it by trying to be different and original and unique, you're doing it by just using all the principles that have been proven in the past. And by doing that, you're going to relate to every single person within that community. So it's really just a reframe. So it's like being super normal. It's like our way of saying you're going to become unique by being normal and relating to people rather than being unique by differentiating yourself from people and trying to be different. I mean, that's the way I understand it, but maybe you have a different understanding and maybe your understanding is better than mine. I don't know.
Okay, I feel like I'm just staring at this board. So after the big domino, then it's like, then we need to show the framework of like the how what we're doing works. It's like, so here's our solution. It's like our 5-minute Facebook groups thing.
Yeah, because the big domino is the overarching false belief that we must change in order to eliminate all resistance to buy. So we need to get them from being a normal, overworked, overstressed entrepreneur, adopting the identity of however we want to describe this new type of entrepreneur. It's like we want them to believe these 3 core things of like, right, high performance laziness, do less and achieve way more. The fundamentals of business, have so much fun that you never have to work another day in your life, and super normalcy, how to be so normal that you stand out from the crowd. Like if we get them to adopt those 3 beliefs, then it's just a question of providing a product that allows them to be successful with this new mindset. So that's really it. The big domino is getting them to shift their identity from one to the other. And it's like, I think just by teaching the principles, it's naturally going to do that. And then as we start doing it and people start going through feedback, then we can see what other like resistances there are. And like, I think you're right. It's like, if we just show how it works, it's like we prove this concept. It's like, just follow the framework that he gives us. It's like you introduce the concept by name. So it's like high performance laziness. That's the name. Then the description is do less and achieve way more, as an example. And it's like, then you share how you learned it or earned it. So it's like kind of the story of how we discovered this. And then we share the strategy of this is how it works. Like this is the outline you need to follow in order to make this happen. And then the tactics, like these are the step-by-step things you need to do in order to make this a reality. And then you just use examples of like, hey, this is how it worked for other people. So studies or testimonials or research or whatever we want to provide. And we just replicate the same strategy for each of those 3. And it's like at the end, we can just ask like, hey, did all of that make sense? Does anyone have any questions? Is there anything you didn't understand? And then we can just, address those questions and adjust that for the next presentation and just do that. Like that seems relatively simple. It's like, we won't know for sure how effective it's going to be until we actually try. But it just seems like this is very much following the structure that he recommends in the perfect webinar. Because like the 3 secrets, the way he explains it, it's like the 3 false beliefs that we need to change in order to get them to have no resistance to buying. So it's like, all right, the high performance laziness, the belief is you need to work hard in order to be successful. And we break that belief by saying, no, you need to be a high performance lazy ass. And we just like explain like, this is why it's productive. This is why it works. This is why trying to brute force it does not work. That false belief by presenting a new, better belief, by explaining it clearly and proving why it works. And automatically that just destroys the old belief, even if we never mention it. Like, even if we never mention, like, the wrong way to do this is to try to work really hard and do everything. And it's like overwhelm yourself. Like, we never have to say that, because we're like, we believe that the best way to succeed is to develop the skill to use high performance laziness, and we explain it. It's like we never even need to mention the false belief that we're breaking. And also he recommends like 3 different things. So it's like the vehicle. So this is the new opportunity for secret number 1. Secret number 2 is an internal belief. And secret number 3 is external belief. So it's like, I don't have an example right here, but the vehicle is just kind of like, this is the opportunity that we're presenting to you. Then the internal belief is like, oh, I don't believe like this is going to work. Like, I don't believe that it's possible. And then you break that. It's like, then an external belief, like, I don't believe it's going to work for me. And then you just prove like, hey, all these other people who are just like you succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, is there a way that we can teach these 3 frameworks and at the same time cover those 3 elements of like the opportunity, the internal beliefs, and the external beliefs? Like, if we can find a way to like combine the 2 into one, it's like we're teaching this principle and at the same time we're addressing this core, like this false belief. Deliverables, case study, like everything else is just going step by step and filling in the blanks.
Dang. So, I mean, what comes up for me is like this perfect webinar format is really not the right vehicle for what we're trying to do. It's like, this is once you already have a lot of customer data. It's like you already know what their objections are. You already understand exactly what it is they want. I think what we need to do for this is closer to modeling some of the stuff, like the format and the way that you organize the information. But I think what we need to do is something more like what most VSLs do, which is like, you're talking in bigger umbrella terms of, here's the results that you want. It's like bigger business, more clients, more sales, that kind of thing. And then it's like, here's all the reasons why we've gotten these results. Here's what most people in the industry are doing. Here's what we're doing differently. And if you're interested in hearing more, like get on a call. Or like in this case, it would be like, and if you're interested in like getting our help for free, or or launching something right away, like whatever the call to action is. This seems like, I don't know, it feels like for whatever reason, I'm just super overwhelmed with like this presentation, and I don't feel like I'm super clear yet on how to slot all this stuff in. Maybe you feel like we already have most of what we need, but I'm like, I guess it's been too long since I've read the book that I'm like,
be like, once they accomplish this, then the big domino is like, this is what I'm going to show you. Like, this is my goal with this presentation, to get you from here to here. Make sure you stay until the end so you get this bonus. Then you qualify. It's like, hey, I'm Aaron. I've done these things, and this is why I'm the right person to teach you.
so what is our bonus that we're making them stay for?
I don't know yet.
All right. let's fix that. And then we're future pacing, showing them who they can become. And then after that, I'm introducing myself.
Okay, so the intro is in 5 parts. So there's number 1, the bold promise. Number 2 is build rapport / future pacing. Number 3 is the big domino. Number 4 is the hook, so the bonus. And like the hook until the end, so the bonus they get. And number 5 is you qualify yourself. So you introduce yourself and explain why you're the right person to teach them.
Oh, that's all. Okay. So that's all part of the first segment. All right, so let's do this. So the promise for future pacing.
Because like the build rapport / future facing can be super simple. It can be like, hey, I know you failed in the past and you're probably worried that this is going to be the same thing. But the thing is, most people out there are just interested in getting your money. They're not interested in helping you. And like, that's why we're doing this, because we're just like you were in your shoes. And we suspected there's an easier way to do this. We don't need to be overwhelmed and overworked. There's like, we confirm their suspicions. It's like, we suspected there was an easier way to do this, and we discovered this. And that's what we're going to teach you. And that's going to allow you to have the freedom, to have the energy, and to be able to enjoy your business, to be able to be lazy when you want to spend time with family, to travel the world. And it's like just giving them in that mindset. And it's like, then you switch to the big domino. So it's like, my goal in this presentation is to get you from the place where you're stuck, you're frustrated, you're overwhelmed, to the realization that it can be easy. I can be lazy, I can have fun, and I can be normal and be way more successful than it ever was before. And then make sure you stay till the end to get this bonus. And then once you cover all that, it's like, all right, my name is Aaron. This is like my history. This is why I'm the right person to teach you this. And then let's begin. Then you start the training of like secret number 1, and then you just walk through the process. So it's like, it may seem like a lot for the intro, but it's like, it's going to take a couple minutes, because it's just bold promise and then walk step by step for like building rapport and future pacing. The big domino, which is 1 or 2 sentences, hook it till the end.
So future pacing, I still don't understand what future pacing is. Future pacing is like,
to imagine their life once they adopt the beliefs that you're trying to teach them.
Okay, so that's what this is, future pacing.
Actually, maybe we can adjust that. Maybe we can insert the big domino between the confirm the suspicions and the encourage the dream. So it's like the building rapport section would be justify their failure. So it's like, I know you failed in the past. It's not your fault. It's because of the way that business is done in modern culture. It's like, you're probably worried that this is going to be overwhelming and it's going to require a lot of work, but don't worry, that's not what we do, because we're not interested in doing like everyone else out there and just getting your money. We want to help you. We want to teach you how this can be easier. And it's like, you've probably suspected that there has to be an easier way to do business. You don't need to be overworked, overwhelmed, and stressed out all the time. And we had the same suspicion, and we discovered there is an easier way to do this. And then we insert the big domino. It's like, my goal is to make you understand, like, you don't need to be overstressed. You can get to the point where it's like, you can be lazy, you can have fun, and you can be normal and be way more successful. And it's like, and once you get to that point and you incorporate that, then you can have the freedom to travel, to spend time with your family, to focus on helping your clients. It's like really paint the picture of what their life is going to be like after.
Yeah.
then that makes probably more sense. It's like having the future pacing after the big domino.
Okay, so that makes, I finally understand what this stuff is. See, this is the thing that I don't like about marketing. It's like when you name everything your own name, it's like doesn't mean anything. So it took me a while to understand that the building the rapport is dealing with their micro objections in sitting here and actually being fully attentive. So you're talking about their fears, helping them, like you're identifying all the stuff they're feeling and thinking as they're walking into the presentation. Being like,
yeah, like if you put yourself in their shoes, and I mean, we've been in their shoes multiple times while attending webinars.
sure,
We're just, I've tried this before. Like I signed up because maybe this is going to work, but deep down, you're like, probably the same crap as everything else.
yeah.
And it's like, you're afraid, it's like, oh, I'm going to be overwhelmed. They're just going to try to pitch me. They're going to try to sell me. They're not going to teach me anything. And we address it like, hey, we are going to make an offer at the end, but our goal with this presentation is to get you that mindset shift, to rethink the way that you view business in the world so you can enjoy life and enjoy the process. So it's like, no matter what, you're going to come away with this with value. It's like, if we make that clear in the beginning, they're going to trust us way more than it's like, if it's just like, oh, this big, bold promise, and it's like, here's all the value, and then, oh, by the way, you got to pay me a crap ton of money.
Okay, got it. So I got to build rapport with who this is for. And so we're talking about here's all the ways that I'm like you. Here's all the things that I would be feeling if I was in your shoes. And here's why what I'm talking about solves some of the problems that you've had, that I've had. And so then that leads into, so here's the thing that we're talking about. Here's the big idea. And it's like, if you're in for that thing and learning more about that, that's what we're going to talk about today. Because it's going to give you all of these benefits. Here's the, like, here's who you're going to be. Here's what the dream outcomes are. It's just going to feel like. And then if you sit through all of that, you know, just for being here, here's what I'm going to offer you. Just for sitting here, it's like, we'd love to just say thanks for giving us the time, and we want to make, we want to help you whether you work with us or not. This is what we're going to give you at the end.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And then we mentioned the bonus, and then after that, it's just like, hey, I'm Aaron. This is kind of my quick story. This is why I'm qualified to be teaching you this. And it's like, all right, let's jump in. Let's start learning this.
Yeah. Okay. So this is really okay.
So like, I feel like the building rapport portion is, it's not getting them to like, it's not convincing them of what we're trying to convince them in the presentation. It's just convincing them of the value of staying to attend.
Right. It's just like it's like what we were saying with copyright. It's like in as many different ways as we can tell them, this is what the presentation's about. It's like, how many different ways can I say it so that you hear what you need to hear to be like, oh, that's what this is about, I'm staying. It's like, if it's like, yeah, well, I don't want to hear a presentation because blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, actually the thing that you feel like you don't need to hear this about, like we're dealing with that. We're talking about why that exact thing happens with the industry and why this isn't going to work that way here.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like most webinars, like even the perfect webinar structure, it's about like, how do we get them to the place where they're ready to buy? And it's like, we want to do that, of course, because we're trying to sell something, but at the same time, we want to teach something so that no matter what, by the end of the webinar, they got value. Right. And that is the problem with most webinars, because they're just structured to sell, not to teach. we need to make sure we do both because we want to provide value and we want people to come away with value.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we're able to provide value, they're going to be way more inclined to want to buy at the end anyway.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing I don't like about webinars. Is like when you get to the end, you're like, crap, I feel like I need this, but I also feel like I got tricked into wanting it. Like that's not what we want them to feel. We want them to get that mindset shift to get to the end of like, this is my new identity. Oh, and they're providing me something that's going to allow me to do that way easier, way faster.
Okay, so. So what I'm hearing is like, so this is the intro, and then we'll outline our big domino like framework, which is like, here's the big idea. It's like, you've been told you need to work hard to grow a business. Like, you want a 7-figure business, you got to put in 7-figure effort. We don't think you actually need to work hard. We've actually been super productive with what we call high performance laziness. Actually, we're doing way less. We're focusing on the right thing. And we've gotten so much more done by being really lazy. And when we say we're being lazy, it's like what we're doing feels like not like work. We're, and then people say like, okay, you got to be professional. You have to be serious. You have to come across as somebody who knows what they're talking about, knows what they're, has you have to be an expert. It's like, I think the whole thing should just be fun. It's like, if you are having fun, people will want to have fun with you. It's like, who cares whether you're an expert? I mean, why are you not spending $20,000 to work with somebody who like can guarantee I'll get you results in your business? If they can, guarantee that it's going to work, it's like, if you want as a guarantee and you want somebody that's professional and is an expert in the best class, it's like, go work with them. But no, we want somebody that we actually like. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking about the wrong thing. That's not. It's not what we want in business. What we want to talk about is doing.
What you're trying to convince them is not about business. It's about identity. It's like, do you want to be the person who works hard, who's overwhelmed, who's overstressed, and who feels trapped inside their business? Or do you want to be the person who can be lazy, who can spend an entire day watching TV, not feel bad, because you've developed the skill of using your laziness to be productive?
Yeah. So the fun part is like the antidote to the overwhelm. It's not like being professional. It's so if you feel like you have, so work hard and like do all the things. It's like, no, you should be lazy. If you're overwhelmed, because it just seems like you got to learn so many things to make your business work. You got to do so many things to make your business work. If it's not something you're enjoying, you're doing it wrong. Like building a business should be the most fun you've ever had.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, he just shows us the framework of like, hey, just follow these steps and you can easily walk them through. So it's like, you introduce it by name, you describe it, you share how you learned it or earned it. So the story of how you discovered it, you share the strategy. So like the outline of how it works, and then you share the tactics, and then you give examples of how it works for other people. So it's like in the sharing how you learned it or earned it, it's like you're sharing, it's like, I used to think that I needed to work super hard and I was like overwhelmed and overstressed. And it's like I tried so many different businesses and failed so many times because that motivation just went away.
Yeah.
And I felt like a complete failure all the time. But
Yeah.
then we one day realized like, oh, we're fighting against who we really are. I need to be lazy. And by being lazy, that gives me the ability to not stress, to not worry, to not do like everything that's completely useless and focus on what's really effective.
Yeah.
And then you're like, here's the strategy. Like, here is how you use this in everyday life. And then it's like the tactics of like, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what the difference is between the strategy and the tactics. I'm going to have to go back and check that out. But it's like, I think using that framework or like a version of that framework is be very good to just walk them through everything.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom again. I feel like what we're describing, the framework is like the tactics of what the big domino idea is. I don't feel like the domino idea is a single idea yet.
Yeah, I think I'll go through because I purchased the perfect webinar, like, I don't know, template thingy, whatever. It was like $7. And there's like perfect webinar training on the back end. So maybe if I go through that, then I'll have like a better understanding of, and just like a refresher of this is everything you need step by step.
Gotcha.
It's like a hour training. So, you know, doesn't make sense for me to do it live while we're on the call. So I'll do that. And then tomorrow we can probably kind of like, I'll have that clarity of like, all right, this is everything we need to hit. Then we just fill it out. Like, is there anything else that's like troubling, confusing, you're not sure about? Because I can tell you're very contemplative.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what our big domino actually is. Like, what is the key idea, the fundamental idea that is the identity shift that this gives them?
I think it's just the fact that it's like we're teaching them how to enjoy being an entrepreneur. Like I do agree. I think we do need like some sort of term or descriptor that encompasses everything we're trying to teach them. So it's like go from being, you know, an overstressed entrepreneur to an overjoyed entrepreneur, like whatever, like something simple people can understand. I just don't know if we can kind of force it. I think it's more a question of let's just let it happen, and when it's time, it's just going to come to us.
Let's see, what did I write down the other day? Okay, so I think, could be wrong, I think the
What if we're teaching them to be a free entrepreneur? Because I feel like that's the emotion, like that's the sensation that's going to come as a result of this transformation. It's like, you know, the happiness, the laziness, the wait, what's the third one? I forget. Ah, and the normalcy. It's like it removes all the pressure. Like I don't need to be working hard all the time. I don't need to be like focused and serious. I don't need to be unique or special. It's like I can just exist. It removes all that pressure. And it's just like, I feel free. And it's like
yeah,
that's the feeling I went through when we kind of realized all this, like we can just be normal.
Mhm.
It was a sensation of
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think that the idea is like to help them feel successful. It's like you're doing all of this stuff in your business. You're not seeing progress, which is why you're working hard. You feel overwhelmed. You feel like I got to differentiate my business even more. Like, okay, you're doing all of this stuff, feel like you're successful to finally get there. Like the whole problem that the millennial generation is like, I feel like a failure. Like I don't even know how to adulting. It's like we feel like failures. The honest truth is you can feel successful without having to have built a mega business. And the key to having a successful business is not doing all these things. It's actually the opposite. It's like you feel successful first. You find the things that prove that you're successful, and then the business comes. So we actually need to install high performance laziness. Like get back to that feeling of being successful. You need to have more fun while you're building your business. If you're overwhelmed, you're doing all the wrong things that aren't moving your business forward, and it's killing your enthusiasm. And like if you're so focused on differentiating yourself, you're going to isolate yourself from everybody. You need to be so normal and connected to what everybody else needs and wants and what makes businesses successful, that it's like every single person that you come in contact has something in common with you. You have something that makes you relatable to them just by being really normal. And when everybody finds you normal, it's like that becomes something really unique.
I think I figured it out. People want to be successful so that they can be free. What we're teaching them is how to be free so that they can be successful. It's like what we're selling is not really success. It's just I'm giving you the freedom so that you can be successful rather than having to overwork yourself and overburden yourself and overstress yourself to be successful so you can finally be free. It's like I want to be successful, but the reason behind that is so they can get that sensation of I'm free. It's like this, like, being able to be lazy and productive, being able to have fun, and being able to realize like I can just be a normal person. That is freedom. And it's that freedom that then gives them the ability to be successful. So it's like we're giving you what you really want so that you can get what you think you want.
Yeah.
So I think that's the identity shift. It's like we need to get them from believing I need to be successful so I can be free to I need to be free and the result will be success.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this makes sense. You're already free. Yeah. You don't achieve success to get freedom. You have to be free, which allows you to be successful.
And the thing is, it works both ways because it's like, even if you do believe that you need to be successful in order to be free, like, okay, but why not just be free now? It's like we don't necessarily need to convince them of like, oh, success comes as a result of being free.
Right.
Like, we just need to get them. It's like, you need to be free. We can teach you how to be free. And that will make the process of being successful easier. So it's like, we don't necessarily need to shift everything completely. We just need to get them to understand freedom makes success easier. Whether you believe that, freedom is the ultimate success, it doesn't matter. It's just, we need to get you to understand, like, you don't need to work super hard and kill yourself to be successful, and then you can be free. It's like, you need to allow yourself to be free now so that you can make the process of becoming successful way more fun and way easier. And the beauty of this is, for certain people, if we're like, we can give them the freedom that they want, and that's the reason why they're striving so hard to be successful, then it removes their desire to be successful. But since our target audience is people who can't help but being entrepreneurs, that hunger is never going to go away.
Yeah.
So it's just going to make the process more fun and more enjoyable for them. So it's like, you're still going to get the same results. You're just going to get it faster, easier, and you're going to enjoy the process way more.
Yeah. So we need to talk about the how, like how that works.
Man, I think we have pretty much everything we need right now, because we have the ideal client, we have the identity shift that they need to go through, we have the three, what's the term I'm looking for? Anyway, strategies or mechanisms that they need to implement in order to get that result.
Yeah.
It's like, we have the business. This is the business, like those 5 things: ideal client, identity shift, and the 3 like principles, the 3 values they need to adopt.
Yeah.
And the rest is just a question of, once we convince them of that, we just provide a vehicle. So in this case, the course that teaches them, that shows them step by step how to go through life with this new identity that they adopted. So it's like, most people, it's like, we like convince you this is what you need to do. And I created a course teaching you how to do that. We're like, no, we're teaching you, you need to believe this. And the second you believe it, you become that person. So we won't teach you how to become that person. We're going to show you how you need to act once you are that person. It's like, maybe we need to teach them that also. Like, maybe even like explicitly explain it. It's like, 99% of entrepreneurs out there go through this process of, they get you to go through an identity shift, convince you to become that kind of person, get that kind of result, and then offer you a product that's going to allow you to go through that transformation. But we've realized that the moment that you have that identity shift, the moment that you decide, I am this person now, you automatically become that person. And all you need to do is stop yourself from reverting back to who you were before. So we're not going to try to sell you a course teaching you how to become that, because you already are. What we're like giving you is a way to act in business, to be successful in business, and to maintain this identity and keep yourself from shifting back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that is what we sell. It's like, we get you, we transform you. By the end of the webinar, you are this new version of yourself. And then you have the choice. You can either, go back to normal life and revert back to who you were before, or you can purchase the product that we created, teaching you exactly step by step how to implement that and how to live your life with your belief, being this new person that you are now. So it's like, not only does it show them like, we didn't just trick you. We didn't like sell you something and convince you that you needed it and then say like, hey, here's the exact thing that you needed. It's like, we already like gave you this transformation. We can't take that back. We can teach you the next step after that. And it's like, if we present it that way, I feel like it can be even more impactful, because not only do we provide value, it's like, hey, we just kind of tricked you into becoming a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
And we're not going to sell you, hey, buy this and become this better version, because you already are. We gave you that for free. If you don't lose it though, then you go like you adopt this new identity and you keep living with this.
Yeah.
And that's why we created this product, to help you really like internalize and make and cement this new version of yourself into place. And at the same time, you're going to grow your business. And it's like, people are way more afraid of losing something they already have than they are of gaining something that they want.
Can you imagine that if people resonate with this, like the the profile statement is like, I help lazy people be more lazy.
But I think this has such potential to be like if we do this right,
Yeah.
we get the right audience, like this could be like the $1 million funnel right there.
It's what scares me about this is that it feels like everything that I like and almost everything that I like nobody else does. It's sort of like the comedy shows and stuff that are just a little bit too clever for themselves, and it's like most people don't get it. It's like, how do we make this the way that we see it, like really accessible for people who like they don't go to these, like they don't make the same jumps that we do, so you have to like lay out every brick and step and stone for them.
Maybe we do, and maybe that's what we're going to discover, but we need to create this and put it out there and have people go through in order to see like, okay, do we need to create that epiphany bridge and just lengthen the process in order for people to go through that transformation? Or can they go through it quickly enough that they're going to, like in one, let's say 90-minute presentation, they can have that shift. And at the end, we're like, hey, we've tricked you into becoming this new, better version of yourself. Do you want to lose that? Or do you want to, keep that and have that be you from now on? Because like, especially if we kind of present it that way of like, hey, you probably didn't realize this, but we tricked you into becoming a better version of yourself using those exact principles by, being lazy and productive, by having fun, and by being normal. It's like, we tricked you into doing that for yourself. So you already experienced it. You already that transformation. And it's like, we just proved to you how easy this is. It's like, that is the ultimate form of like social proof. It's like, it's not just, oh, we did this for ourselves, we did this for other people. It's like, we just did this for you and you didn't even realize it. like if we can get people to like have that transformation and get to the point where we can tell them that and they're like, holy crap, you're right.
Yeah.
Like that is going to blow people's minds. And oh, dude, remember when we were talking about like the hardest decision you'll have to make is purchasing this product?
Mhm.
Like we already made you do the hardest thing, which is have the identity shift.
Mhm.
It's like that was the hardest thing. We already did it for you. And that like, dude, if we sell a product, like the hardest part of the entire process is the part that we already did for you right now without you realizing it.
Mhm.
Like
So
that is like, whoa.
this webinar is a done for you service.
Yeah, exactly.
Come to this webinar, which is like a $10,000 value in mindset shift coaching.
That could be part of, that could be like in the value stack. Like the mindset shift that we, got you to go through this training is worth easily $10,000 in itself.
Yeah. And it's like, if you agree, I mean, it's sort of like if you buy in, if you buy into our thing, it's like you're sort of like affirming all of those statements of like, oh, this is like a $10,000 value.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's
And
like
it's
as long
not
as
quite that explicit, but it's sort of,
yeah, but I mean, as long as we ask questions throughout, like, hey, does this make sense? Like, do you believe this? Do you need any other questions? Like, get them to say yes and buy in at every step of the way. By the end, you're like, you already bought in. You already had that transformation, that shift.
yeah.
And it's like, if we can get them that moment of like, oh crap, at the end of like, all right, we just taught you everything. Now
Yeah.
you probably think you need to go through that transformation process in order to become that person. Well, it turns out this presentation was designed to get you to do that already. So you've already become that new version of yourself.
Mhm.
Like if we can like structure it in such a way that it's like a mind blown moment of like, oh crap, like you convinced me I have to do all this. And then at the end, the twist is I already did it. Whoa.
Well, okay. Is it that they've already done it, or is it like, no, yeah, like if you're getting them to agree at every step, then they've already done it. Yeah. Because it's sort of like the the mind fuck is like, all you have to do is make the decision, and like that's what makes you the different person. But if they've already made the decision before you draw their attention to the facts, like then it's like you've already done this before you even realized it.
Yeah, and that like gives us a perfect segue to the next portion of like, now that you've become this person, all you need to keep yourself from reverting back to who you were before. And we've created a course helping you do exactly that.
Mhm.
Do you want me to take like, do I have your permission to take 10 minutes to go over that?
Yeah.
And it's like, of course, it's the natural segue.
Yeah.
So it's like it helps the process because it's not just like,
Okay, so what we need to validate then is like, is this the right idea? Like you're already free, or you can feel successful right now. Like you just have to decide. And you, guess what? You've already agreed with every single philosophical statement in this process. So you've already made the decision. You already are that person. All you have to do now is just realize you are that person. So like when they sit with that and be like, how does that feel? If they're like, wow, this is a different, like I am different. Like this is a different place. It's like you can get them to validate that statement. It's like, yeah, I am successful. I already am free. It's like that's how I want to be from now on. It's like I want to I want to feel like I'm not working hard anymore. I'm not overwhelmed with what I'm doing. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And it's like, that is what I can do.
Dude. And it's literally like, okay, you already went through the shift. All you need to do is keep reverting back to who you were before. It's like, what if this could be it? What if everything from now on in your business could be this simple?
Mhm.
Like it's so easy, so simple that you do it without really realizing it.
Yeah.
It's like that's what we've been teaching you. You can be lazy and be productive. You can have fun in business and do the work without realizing you're doing it because it's so fun. You can
Yeah.
be normal and become like unique, but everyone connects with you because you're like that.
Yeah. I feel like there's yeah, okay. So I feel like how like the idea is we've already okay, so the big domino where actually so we have to get them to agree to the idea that they feel successful or that they're already free or that they want to feel that way all the time. Maybe that's the real decision that they're making. It's like, I want to feel that all the time. It's like, and if you can get them to say that that's the person that they are and they want to stay there, it's like semantics, doesn't matter how exactly that comes across. But what we want them to say yes to is, I want to feel that all the time. The actual big domino that's really happening under the surface is, do they agree that we've done all the work for them and that it was easy to do their part? So it's like, in order to get the little change that we created over this presentation, like, I like how I feel. I like this. I feel like this is better. I feel like I've made progress. And I agree that you did all the work and all I had to do was just take it. It's like, if you agree to that, that's what the premise of all of this is for us and what we're really trying to do psychologically with them. It's like, if they can agree to that premise, then the offer, which is our actual course, is not teaching and training and getting you to do work. It is, our offer is, we'll do all the work so that all you have to do is show up and just make the decision. All right, I just gotta log in and watch this thing for 5 minutes. I just gotta tell people, hey guys, I did my assignment. It's like, I just have to show up and you do all the work for me so that I can be the guy that's being lazy. I can be having fun doing the few things that I need to do in my business. And I can just feel like I can feel like a normal person who's not that weird guy that's working 80 hours in their business and haven't made a dime and all my friends are laughing at me. It's like, I'm actually doing the things that matter and that make a business work. And they're helping me do the right things at the right time. It's like, okay, what would that be worth to you if somebody could give you that experience all the time?
Yeah, so if we structure it in such a way that it's by the end of the training section, we get them to feel that freedom. And it's like, I did this for you. Now I'm not always going to be there to do it for you. So you have to learn to do it how, like, by yourself. Otherwise, you're going to revert back to who you were before. We created this course that's teaching you how to do that, but not teaching you like how to do it. We're showing it through the process of the course. We created a course that's valuable, that's going to allow you to grow a business or an audience that generates clients for you. But the real value behind this is going through that course, through that process, is going to teach you how to do this for yourself. As this new version of yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like something coming up and I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, so this makes this like a blue ocean for sure, because it's like, who else is doing this? Who else is creating this kind of transformation where it's like we're just parting the sea, so to speak. Like all you got to do is walk forward.
Dude, we're parting the Red Sea.
Oh snap! That's where
Yeah.
that's where that marketing term comes from. It's the red ocean. It's like you have to. Oh my god!
Uh,
See, and that's really clever marketing because it doesn't spell it out so much that it's like I'm the expert. I'm so clever. I came up with this. It's like it gives you just enough information so when you figure it out, you're the genius. And that's what we want to do is we want to figure out how do we make them go through this so that we all but say it and they're like, holy crap, that just blew my mind. They're so good at this. And then it's like we get to there and they have the ideas like, oh, their course does exactly what it's like they're giving me everything and I just like press the button and print money. I mean, that's like that's what they're realizing in their head, and it's like their idea. It's not our idea. It's like,
yeah, I
how do
think
we
that
present the offer? So it's like, oh, this is what we're offering is do 5-minute Facebook, you can grow your thing. It's going to nurture your people. And it's like, but in their heads are thinking, dude, they're like handing me a business where I can be lazy and have fun. It's like, they're doing all the work like, and this is like way more valuable than an info course. This is like as close to a done for you business as possible. And like, I can just steal it basically.
and that's the thing. I think like once we set it up and like the funnel is the mechanism and like the intro to the webinar and the the offer and value stack and everything is just like done for you paint by numbers. What
Mhm.
is really going to make the difference is perfecting that teaching process to get them through that breakthrough to the point where it's like we blow their mind at the end.
Mhm.
Like we might not hit it all like right off the bat, but if we're able to like perfect the process and get to that point,
Mhm.
it's like that's when you see numbers of like webinars converting at like 50% and stuff like that.
Yeah. This is okay. So I think we should share this story, this realization in the sort of like we were doing this, we were putting this presentation together and we blew our own minds. It's like this worked on us and we weren't even trying to do anything because what we realized is like by being really normal and doing the business the way that businesses are supposed to, but you just do it yourself. Like you do as little as possible. You allow yourself to have fun. It's like who you are and the part that makes you different is naturally going to come out. And in the middle of doing what everybody is doing, you are going to carve out your own blue ocean idea, like because you're doing what everybody's doing in your own way. The problem is everybody tells you be different from everybody else. So you're so worried about being different that you're not doing any of the things that every business needs to do. But if you do everything that every business does and you do it your way, which we're going to make it easy because we're just giving it to you. It's like, this is the bare minimum that you have to do. It gives you the space to be you. And when you go right to the center of the red ocean and you create your own niche, you're just parting the Red Sea. Like we're giving you the ability to be Moses.
I just realized we're creating a blue webinar.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, webinars have been proving to work. Like they're one of the best ways to sell online courses. And everyone follows that same step-by-step structure. And we're doing the exact same thing. But we're just putting our own twist on it.
Yeah.
And that's making it unique to us. And that's creating the blue, niche within
Yeah.
the red ocean.
It's like we're doing what everybody says to do. It's like you need to do the perfect webinar format. It's already been refined. It's already been like this structure and framework works. And I know it works because when you broke it down for me, it's like all the elements, like it follows the same template that I see happens in all good coffee and all good communities. It's like you have to tell them, what is it that I need to know? You have to tell me who is it for, so I can opt in or out. It's like, am I that person or not? And then you have to tell me, who am I going to be? Like, what am I going to get from it? Then you got to help me feel it. It's like, get excited about the thing. It's like, put me in the emotion of this is what we're trying to sell you, on the feeling of the thing. And then it's like, once I bought into the feeling, it's like I identify either like I hate the thing that you're making me feel, or I really want that thing that you're making me feel. Like then it's like, oh, okay, tell me how to do it. Now I'm willing to listen. It's like, show me how it works. And then you got a logical process. All right, cool. How much is it? And then you just make it so it's like you are an idiot for offering that at that price. I'm gonna buy, like I'm gonna take that, and then it's like you show me exactly how easy it is to work with you. It's like press this button or just drop a comment, or it's like, here's the offer page, you can buy it right now. If you use this offer code, you get like 75% off of already 90% off, whatever. But it's like all the stuff is there. It's just the different nuances of how he puts this webinar together. And if we just do this, but we do it completely our own like style, our like ourselves as the delivery, and I think also the thing that makes the webinar work is like you do this in front of people and they give you the feedback. It's like, well, you lost me there, or that wasn't clear, or I really resonate with that, and you just keep changing it until it works. I mean, and by the time you do that, it's like the people that are willing to talk to you and what your ideas are, it's like that's what refines it into something that is like irreplicable.
This feels very right.
Yeah, it feels like the seed of something that's super us. And also, I mean, we can, I don't know. So now I just have to figure out, who can I do this for? Well, actually, I know I'm doing a call with Leslie. I can do a soft pitch on this for her. I'm doing a promo with what's his face?
I would recommend not calling him that.
Yeah, I've got calls lined up with Marcus, Leslie, and David, who have been helping, and like if I can get them all to give me feedback on this. I think, I don't know. I think this might be something good. I also think it would be interesting to do this like to cold traffic. Like if you just presented this to people who don't know us. Like, you've never helped me before. You've never, like, I don't know you from Adam. It's like, does the idea by itself hold weight?
I think it would, as long as it's the right people, because now we're very clear on who the perfect customer is.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we target those people, like then it's just going to be a question of, is the identity shift process long enough? for them to actually get to that point.
Mhm.
And the only way to do that is to test it out.
Yeah.
So we have to create
Well,
it.
I
That is
have
pretty
a
much
I have a group of 500 plus people that are all about like the transformation of consciousness, like mindset shifts, basically. So like this would be
blow
a
their
great,
mind.
this would be a great thing to try on them.
Oh man. Like if we can just figure out the pieces of the puzzle, like there's no way this cannot work, because I've seen so many more, like so many other things that are so much crappier than this
Mhm.
make like millions of dollars. That's like, as long as we don't make it too complicated, as long as we make it like keep it simple and have all the pieces in place.
Maybe
Like
crappy is what works. Maybe because you and I are creative and we like always need to polish things, and like we love that, like the creative process of continuing to refine stuff. It's like maybe that's the thing that holds us back. It's just like just go dump a bunch of like first run ideas on people and just do the ones that's like it's like I did almost no work to put this together, but people are buying it, whatever.
But I don't mean the funnel itself. I mean like the product, the delivery, the thing that you buy crappy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that affiliate course that I bought
Yeah.
with, you know, your link that ended up getting a refund on, it's like he's made multiple millions of dollars from that. Yet it's pretty crappy. So, you know, just goes to show.
Mhm.
Plus, the beauty of this is if we're able to get them the transformation and that identity shift on the webinar before they purchase it,
Yeah.
the product doesn't even need to be that good,
Mhm.
because it's just about maintaining the shift that they already had.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, not to say it should be crappy. Of course, we're going to make it as good as we can, but it's like we don't need to make it that amazing.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm feeling good about this. I'm gonna try. I don't know what I'm gonna try yet. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and I'll probably have an idea about what I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I think we can pretty much hop off here. Like, I need to go through a few different trainings and
Mhm.
set up an email for the domain and set that up. So I think if we just kind of like let this sit and simmer, then we come back tomorrow, we'll be way more clear, and we can probably maybe even knock out the webinar.
Sounds good.
All right. This has been, how do I describe it? Lazy, fun, and normal.
Well, actually, all of those are true. It's like this is super normal for us.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, dude, having like breakthroughs and genius business ideas is our normal.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, so in a sense, what we really do is mindset coaching. We just don't care if we have clients. It's like, I'm not here to do that for you. It's like, we just happen to do that.
We're like mind blow coaches. We blow your mind on a daily basis.
Yeah.
If you pay enough, we might blow something else.
Okay, so I think this is another idea. It's like this thing, you're already free, you're already successful. It's like you don't need us to do that for you. It's like if you step into this model of like just let yourself like stop working hard, stop being overwhelmed, stop trying to like be so different. It's like just have fun, be lazy, be super normal. It's like that's the space where breakthrough just happens all the time. Like your whole life is like a breakthrough. And it's like, you don't need us. You don't need a coach. You just need one little extra bit of help to maintain who you are. It's like, you need people who believe in you. I mean, you need somebody looking and be like, yeah, you are a success. And like, let's dig out those pieces of evidence that validate that. And then put those into your business.
Are we maintenance coaches?
Maintenance coaches, maybe. We're like what do you call it? Fitness. We're like the fitness coaching version of success mindset coaches. I don't know.
Yeah, we're like the opposite of a coach. So we're either an anti-coach or we're a calc. I just spelled coach backwards. Calc.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. This has been amazing.
Yep, as usual. I'm gonna go eat some or buy some food now.
Thanks. All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Enjoy your day. Don't forget to be lazy.